Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now, I've been playing Le Mans Ultimate quite a lot recently, and I've discovered one thing which has made me quicker, and not something that I've previously paid that much attention to. And this thing is probably what separates people in the fixed races. Today we're going to talk about traction control. Now, this is going to be a bit rough and ready. I'm just going to jump on track and try and explain and demonstrate the impact that the traction control settings have. Now for this video, we're going to be driving the Ford Mustang GT3 around Interlagos, but the same principles apply whichever car you jump into. So I'm going to do some laps with the stock traction control settings, then I'm going to make some changes and see if we can improve our lap time. So enough talking, let's jump on track. So, a bit of a rough and ready explanation, demonstration, call it what you want, about the TC on Le Mans Ultimate. So we're in the Ford Mustang, we'll go to car setup. Make sure we've got the Le Mans Ultimate setup loaded, which we have. Loads of rear wing on this setup, so it's going to be quite stable. We're going to take some fuel out of the car, maybe put 10 laps of fuel in. Then we're going to go to the cog. We'll go to a powertrain. And down here you can see under electronics, we've got the traction control settings. Now, there are 3 settings, all of which can be controlled when we're driving as well. And there is an explanation on the right-hand side of the screen there you can see for each one. But in layman's terms, the onboard TC, think of that as your volume level. The higher the number, the more TC you've got. The lower the number, the less you've got. The higher the number, the more stable the car's going to be. It's going to be much better behaved coming out the turns, but the car will want to understeer and you're not going to get much rotation on the accelerator. The next one down, onboard TC power cut. Now that number determines how aggressively the traction control kicks in, how much assistance you're going to get. The higher the number, the more assistance. The lower the number, the less assistance. An onboard TC slip angle, that number's all about the lateral slip of the car. So as your car starts to slide, when will the TC kick in? At what point? Obviously, the higher the number, as soon as it steps out of line a tiny bit, traction control is going to kick in. So I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do a couple of laps, give us a benchmark time with the TC as it is with 10 laps of fuel. Now, on the dashboard, either side of the display, you've got 3 lights, left and right. That displays when the traction control is kicking in. Left and right tyres, that will flash green. So when we get on the gas hard, you'll be able to see it. There we go, it's flashing now. So when you don't have any wheel spin, those won't be illuminated. You can see there, it's just understeering. We're on the gas fully there. And we don't want that. We want a little bit more rotation. And you'll see coming out this left-hander, I can get on the gas fully. And it's so easy. Just drives out. I'm not even having to counter steer at all. Just really well behaved. But you can just hear it, it's just struggling. Like here, I've got to lift off the gas to get around that turn. Full on the gas there, 100%. Car's super stable. And that's what you want. You want a stable car, but there's a compromise. Stable usually means slower. So we'll do a couple of more laps and get a decent benchmark in. 37 flat, right? We'll go quicker than that. So this is a better lap. I'll do one more, see if I can beat it. It could have been a bit tidier this lap. This is as good as we're going to get it. Might not even beat the lap time here. Just, there we go. That's our best lap. A 36.418. Now, we'll reset the car, fill up the fuel, get new tyres on, and then we'll make a couple of changes. So, same setup. You can see there in the bottom left, we've got the traction control settings. traction control, TC power cut, TC slip angle. Now, we need to think about where we want to gain the time. I was quite happy with how the car felt coming out the slower stuff. There was loads of assistance. So we want to try and keep as much of that as we possibly can. But we need a bit more rotation on the gas. So we maybe need to let the car slide a little bit more. So I'm going to reduce the slip angle. Hopefully the car will slide more before it kicks in. That will then give us a little bit of extra rotation. So we're going to go down to number 6. And let's see what difference that makes. Now, we haven't made any changes to the overall traction control. That's still at 8. We haven't made any changes to the power cut. That's still at 6. And we'll just see if it will just rotate a little bit better. And we'll just keep an eye on the delta, and that will tell us if we're gaining and where. Right, a couple of laps on the tyres, suitably warm. Let's see if the delta goes green. If it does, where? And if it does, let's try and work out why. It's green at the minute. So straight away I'm feeling that the car is more eager to turn around the turn as we accelerate. Before we were just getting a bit of understeer. So we're already 10th and a half up. Yeah, through there feels better. I'm not having to lift as much. Yeah, much better. Just that one change. Going down 2 clicks. And that's gained us 0.2. And that's not the number that you would automatically change. You would normally change, or you would think about changing the overall traction control. Right, let's refuel, get some new tyres. So we've established going down 4 clicks on the slip angle. Give us a couple of tenths. Just made the car feel more willing to rotate on the accelerator round the longer turns, which was where we were struggling before. We still like that assistance on the slow speed stuff, so we don't spin. But we've improved the acceleration and the grip that we've got coming out the turns and the rotation that the car has. So now we maybe want to have a look at tinkering just to see what it's like with the power cut. So that was on number 6. We could maybe dial that number down so it doesn't cut as much power, so it will enable the car to slide a bit more to give us a little bit of extra rotation. But one thing you do need to bear in mind is that when you are doing that, you are allowing the rear wheels to spin, which will obviously increase tyre wear. So it's a bit of a trade-off. So we're going to go down to number 2 on the TC power cut and see what impact that has on our lap time, if any. Right. Same as before, we'll get a couple of laps on the tyres and then we'll do a push lap and see how we get on. Right, tyres are up to temp. See if we make any improvements. Yeah, it wants to rotate so much more now. Just feel a bit more eager to rotate. Yeah, look at that. Unbelievable. But now you've introduced another problem. We're going quicker, but now you just can't stamp on the gas like you could with all the assistance. So we're into the 35s, the 35.9. Now you've got to manage the throttle on the slower stuff just to stop the car from getting too out of shape. Right, we'll jump back in the pits, fill up with fuel, get some new tyres on, and then we'll maybe just reduce the overall traction control and see if that makes any further difference. Right, so slip angle at 6, TC power cut at 2, and we'll reduce the overall traction control down to 5. Right, same as before. We'll do a couple of laps, get the tyres up to temperature, then we'll push, see if we can actually beat it. I think it's going to be tough though. I think it's going to be really tough. Right, a couple of laps on these tyres now. Let's push. Definitely more rotation, but it's obviously much more challenging as a driver. You've got to do a bit more work. Obviously before, the car was doing it for us. And just see, you can get on the gas so much more aggressively there. So, a little bit quicker, not massively, but every 10th counts. And obviously you can tinker with that number, you could maybe go up a click. But that's another 10th and a half. So that takes us to a 35.812. So hopefully this video has demystified traction control to a certain degree. By making those small changes, we were able to gain just over 6/10 over a short lap at Interlagos. Over longer laps, especially at circuits with long flowing fast turns such as Le Mans, the gains would be even bigger. But a couple of things to really drive home. The more the rear wheels are spinning, the more rotation you're going to get, but you're also going to get more tyre wear. And obviously in the rain where there's reduced grip, you want to turn those settings up. But just because it's wet doesn't mean to say you've got to have maximum TC. But don't be frightened to experiment. Make some changes, see how it feels. You might be just like I was, where you just turn up and down the main traction control. And yes, that can still gain you time, but if you fine-tune the slip and the cut, you'll gain even more. But let me know down below in the comments how you get on, have you tinkered, and have your lap times improved. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great week. See you later. Cheers.